I turned the last part of the quote like into a question. What makes something dying to the world so creative? Put it around and made me think like maybe how there's a lot of people who like complain about global warming and shit and everything, but like we're causing that. Like the problem is us, and then we start like saying, "Oh, save the polar bears." I mean, they wouldn't be saving if we didn't fuck that up.
One of the reasons that we get to live the way that we live is because we jack up the planet. In other words, things are cheaper. You know, and so I asked that question, like, so there's a dude named William Morris, who's an old-style philosopher, and he has some really interesting economic theories. And one of them that really struck me, I'm still kind of working it out. So he's against mass-produced things. So, for example, he's long dead, but he would be against IKEA. Because the idea is that when you go to IKEA, you're buying something that's mass-produced. It's cheap. It's really, 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 really cheap compared to what like a proper desk would cost you. You can go to IKEA and buy a desk for like, what, $30 or so? Yeah. And like a really well-produced desk is going to cost you a couple hundred. So so for him, the idea was that you should buy less stuff, but the stuff you have should last. He thought of it as things that, like, you buy a desk, it should be a desk that you pass along to your kids. Oh. Yeah, and it's fantastic because when you really look at it, I think about how many IKEA desks have I had in my life. You know, lots and lots and lots. But when you buy like your first piece of like well-made fill in the blank, it means something. It lasts a really long time. I don't know if any of you guys have stuff like that in your houses, like or like
I still have my Game Boy.
Yeah, Game Boy, okay. Although the Game Boy's, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the rest of you, okay. And that's a neat thing, especially if you take care of it, that you can then pass along to your kids someday or somebody else someday. You know, bless to somebody who wants it or needs it or whatever, you know. I have years ago I had a guitar. It's really interesting. It's a Les Paul Standard. It's an expensive guitar. It's a couple $1,000. And I had I'm not playing in bands anymore. I just play like acoustic shows. So I have an acoustic. That's all I really need. And I had a student who was, who graduated, and he was starting a band. And he had like this little kind of crappy guitar. I'm like, man, you need a Les Paul Standard. He's like, yeah, but they're expensive. I go, dude, here you go. I gave him all my stuff, and he was just blown away by that. He tried it. The band didn't work out. He didn't really make too much of a go of it. And he's kind of a teacher today, kind of. And guess what he did with the guitar?
What did he do?
Take a guess.
Did he destroy it?
He did not destroy it.
He kept it?
No, he gave it to one of his students.
Aww.
Who was learning how to play guitar and everything like that. And then that student has now given it to somebody else.
Oh, of course. So
what happened is there, I just said, just keep the chain going. Let me know every time the guitar. Like, tell whoever when you gave it to that dude, tell that dude if he ever gives it away to tell you about it. Make sure you know about it. It's not like, oh, you gave away the thing I gave you. No. But the guitar is really, really well made. The thing's gonna be around for a long time. And then that's the only condition I had. I said, I want to know the chain, so I want to know how many hands this guitar goes into. You know, it's kind of neat to see how the thing travels around. It's in Virginia right now.
Oh, that's pretty cool. What the hell?
Yeah, the dude who we gave it to moved to Virginia. So as far as I know, it's still sitting in Virginia somewhere being played. But I thought it's kind of a neat thing because what Morris is talking about is that when you kind of have something that it develops a lot of sentimental value for you. And a lot of times we hold on to the things that have sentimental value to us. But that means that we're holding on to stuff, if that makes sense. We're not holding on to the sentiment. Yeah. And if you can pass that sentiment along to somebody else, and it can develop sentiment for somebody else, it's a really well-made fill in the blank, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was saying that, like, mass-produced stuff is designed to be thrown away. So that means that we don't appreciate it, we don't respect it, we don't develop the ability to sentimentally connect to something. It shuts off an avenue of being able to do that. We no longer have the ability to do that. All you do is you just use it and you go, man, the leg's kind of wobbly, just toss it. Whereas if the leg is wobbly on the really well-made thing that you have, first of all, it probably won't be wobbly. But even if it is, what are you going to do? You're going to repair it. You're not just going to toss it out. You're going to keep that thing for a while. And especially if you can keep it in good order. So anyway, Morris talked about wanting to get rid of mass-produce things because it leads to a feeling of disposability within a society. If you don't like something, what do? You just throw it away. We don't have any patience for it. We don't put ourselves into anything. And that can be true about people, by the way. You don't like this one person, what do? You just kick them out of your life. You don't like this one person, you just throw them away, whatever. But if you develop this mentality within a culture to maintain things that are meaningful, then it carries over from things to people to institutions to culture to all kinds of things. In other words, if you look at the United States right now, and again, it's really easy to criticize things. I don't try to criticize, to be too critical, because there's so much good that goes on. There's so much good that goes on in so many places around the world. But I think we can probably agree that there's a disposability to it. And even like you think about, I'm going to be old man Scanlon again here. When I was your age, if you wanted to get a CD, you'd have to go down to the record store, and if they had it, you couldn't go online and see if they had it. You couldn't go on Amazon and order it. You'd have to go down there. If they didn't have it, you'd go to the next one. And if they didn't have it, you'd go to the next place until you found it. And that thing cost you $15, which if you go back 20 years, it's like $30 today. You couldn't just stream it for free on YouTube, which meant that when you put that CD on, what'd you do? You listened to it. You didn't just throw it on and then start talking to your friends and be like, yeah, it's okay. In other words, music has become disposable for a lot of people. And that's not everybody, and it's not every song, but by and large, some people notice that music is stuff that kind of plays in the background while we're doing other things. Yeah. Music used to be something that was at the fore, which meant that art was something that was at the fore. And this is why so many people will connect so much of their youth and their childhood or memories of their lives to certain music, to certain songs. Because in the same way that Morris didn't want us to have disposable culture, that's a non-disposable thing. You put your head into it. You saved your CDs. I wonder how many of you guys have like parents who have like CD collections or record collections. That's why, because it's an important thing. If you take out a CD, I wonder, and you show it to your parents and go, and out of their collection, show it to your parents and go, what's so special about this CD? I wonder if they would just be like, that's cool. Or if they'd be like,
oh,
nothing, just put it back.
Oh, I had that.
Or if they would take it out and just go, let me tell you something about this song or about this whatever.
Or you play it.
And the idea is that when we treat things as disposable, now we start to treat everything as disposable. That becomes our mindset. Tables are disposable. People are disposable. Music is disposable because everything is cheap and free, and it costs us nothing to get it. And that carries over a lot. No, I won't forget that part. No, because it sounds like I'm just being an a-hole.
Really asshole.
You
need to push it.
I'm saying this with all the love in the world. And it's not even directed at you guys. The past 3 years, we've given away diplomas with 26 credits attached to them. We're supposed to have 44 credits to graduate. The last 3 years, we let people graduate with 26 credits, 40% fewer credits, which means that the diplomas that were issued in the last 3 years are only 40% of the requirements only 60% of the requirements that you guys have to fulfill. Are those diplomas worth as much as what you guys are going to be getting? Not really. It's the same piece of paper, though. Now, I had so many students last year that failed my class because, massively. And I asked them, why are so many of you failing? And they were, well, you guys are here every day. You guys are participating. You guys are discussing the articles. And they're like, well, we don't need the class to graduate, but we need economics. So they would be like, and then there are certain people who teach those classes who will hold that over your head. I won't say any names, but you all know probably who we're thinking of. Yeah. And they will hold that over your head. You need this one to graduate. So they would be putting their energies and efforts into that. So my question was, why wouldn't you just put your energy and efforts into both? That's what we've always done, and it's the right thing to do. And then the right thing to do, blah, 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 blah. It's a disposable diploma. It's a disposable class. Doesn't mean I'm like, well, but you guys are here. And I go, oh yeah, we love talking. We love the class. We love what you talk about. We love the discussions. We love all of that. But we don't need it. I remember thinking in my head, you need this so much more than you realize. You don't need it for a diploma. But my God, you need this so much more than you can understand at this moment. And that's what was sad, because there was no external thing forcing people to do it, such that these are people who will never realize it down the road, because they didn't learn this stuff. They'll never realize what they missed, because you don't know what you don't know. And so they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they've missed. And so we run the risk of when we treat things as disposable, of carrying that over to all of these other areas of our lives and treating a lot of our lives as disposable. And if that's the case, then I'm going to ask, what is it that makes your life meaningful then? What is it that makes anything, like a thing in your life, meaningful and sentimental? You know, if your parents have only ever bought IKEA furniture, then you've got no furniture to get passed along to you, which means you're not going to have that childhood memory. I'm thinking back right now to a dresser that my parents had. It was this big hulking thing, man. I doubt if I could lift it today. You know, maybe with 3 or 4 of you guys helping me. It's this big hulking thing with like a mirror on it and everything like that. And if my parents had given that to me today, I have memories of that dresser, climbing up on it as a little kid and jumping off of it across onto a bed. And then like my parents hearing me, you know, jumping from the dresser onto the bed, running and hiding inside the closet and getting my mom's coats and trying to cover myself up in the corner and hide so they couldn't find me. And my parents coming in and looking for me, and I'm sure they heard me in the closet covered up by coats, giggling, because this was so much fun to me. And if we had an IKEA desk, an IKEA dresser, I would never have had that kind of a memory. And if I had taken that thing and if I had it today, I would probably, you know, restain it, finish it, update it maybe for something I would like to have in my house. But if I ever had a kid, that is something that was so well made it could be passed along to them. And I wonder, wouldn't it be funny if, like, you know, if today I had a kid and I heard some commotion in the next room, someone jumping from a dresser onto a bed, and I'm going in there like, what's going on here? And then I find a big pile of coats in the corner of the closet giggling, and I would realize, dude, my parents did know I was there. They knew all along, man, and that's something that a lot of us are going to realize as we get older. Dude, my parents knew all along. I thought they didn't. Turns out they did. And then the whole spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling kind of washes over us, and that's a meaningful thing. But you lose that when we're disposable. You lose the ability to have songs matter to us quite the same way when you don't own it. You know, when it's just something out there on the internet. And I'm not saying it's better or worse. I'm just saying it's different. But I'm not being nostalgic for the old days. You're saying things have changed and they shouldn't have. Yeah, things should change. Things should change. And I've talked with you about that. Why? Because the world is like an apartment that you're moving. The world is like a furnished apartment that you're moving into. You know, the generation that came before you lived there, put things the way they wanted to, had the TV over here, had the couch over here, but now you're moving in, and you're like, this isn't going to do. Let me put the TV over here, let me move the couch, and I'm going to put, I don't know, what the hell would you put in an apartment? A lava lamp? I don't know. Like, what do we have a lava lamp? But that's stupid. But that's what we do. All right, that's terrible, you shouldn't do that. And then we storm out because the apartment has changed from the way it used to be. We remember how the apartment used to be. No, that's because you're moving into the apartment, which is the world, and you're changing things around, you're making it suit you. You know, we can get angry about that, it's not going to change anything. Or, better yet, I marvel at it. I see what you guys are doing, I just think, it's like I'm watching a zoo. You know, like, why are they doing that? Why are they listening to that? That's so interesting. I wonder what's different about that and what we used to do or what we used to see or whatever. And what you guys are doing, it's not better or worse, it's just different. Like, wow, they're fighting over what a man and a woman are. That's interesting to me. Which bathrooms should you use? It's pretty obvious to my generation. I wonder what they're doing that's so different right now. You know? And too often we get adversarial about it, we get angry about it. It's not better. My generation wasn't better or worse than yours. Yours isn't any better or worse than mine. It's just different. Just don't get so pissed about it, that's all I'm saying. Yeah.
I think that's really funny because, yeah, we are in technological, I guess, society with circular economics and everything else. We want this beginning, middle, and end, and then just doesn't.
And by the way, that's what makes us angry about it. Because, sorry, when I was your age, and then I got older, and then you guys, god damn it, that's the end of my, wait, we're not wearing flannel anymore and combat boots and complaining about economics, what? How come you were arguing about something else? You follow?
Oh my.
Because that reminds me, that reminds us. That's why, like, when your parents, like when, like when Vicente Fernandez died, some people were mourning. It wasn't just because of his music, because that's the end of something really important to people. It's like you guys someday, as you're growing up, the people you admire, the musicians you love, the actors you love, whoever it is that you admire, they're going to die. And then another one's going to die. And then another one's going to die. And you're going to be like, dude, what the hell? How come all of my heroes are dead? Wait a second. If they're getting older, and they're mortal, and they're dying, what does that mean about me? Yeah, that means that this is the end of your era, too.
Oh,
And another one's beginning right now. But if you view it this way, that's harsh. If you can understand it as being this, you're that right next now. You just say, yeah, it's the end of my era, but another one's taking over, and I'll still be around for the next one, and then the next one before this finally happens. You just understand it for what it is. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just a thing. The bad and the good is in how we interpret it. It's in how we see it. Is your music, the music that you guys listen to, is it trash? No, a lot of it's really good. I jam along to it all the time. And then the stuff that comes after you guys, I'll do that one too. Wasn't big on the emo stuff from 10 years ago. But, you know, it's like coffee, it's not for everybody.
yeah.
And we shut ourselves off from so much enjoyment of life if we just say, that's not my music. As soon as you start saying that, that's where you get to right here.
Right.
Yeah, and you lose the ability to appreciate and enjoy that thing. Why? Because you're seeing that music is disposable. It's not. People put their heart and their soul into it, if it has soul. If I listen to music, that's the first thing I think of. I go, does this singer mean it? And if they mean it, if I think they mean it, I go, okay, I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it. It sounds like they're just shouting stuff out. Yeah, whatever. Someday we're going to talk about the quote, though. So, questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques?